Hey guys, welcome back here to Advanced Bass Fishing. Appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to check out today's video. And guys, today, in an effort to help you all catch more fish, I'm going to talk about one lure that is a very popular lure that you probably just don't need to waste your time on anymore. As far as the number of fish you're going to catch on it versus the amount of time you're going to fish on it, just doesn't equal out. So we're going to get into that in today's video. And also, I'm going to give you guys some options in and around that. So I think it's going to be a good little episode here. Also, guys, before we get started, a couple quick things. Just want to invite everybody that here on Advanced Bass Fishing, guys, we do have channel memberships. And if you guys would like to support Advanced Bass Fishing by either being a channel member or a Patreon member, just go into the description of my video. Y'all can do that. And thank you very much for everybody who's taking time to subscribe to the channel and use all the links I put in the description of each video. Big thank you for me and my family for that. Okay, out of all the lures out there, every lure, it's like there's a give and take to it as far as the type of lure, as far as the category, whether it be spinnerbait, jerkbait, crankbait, jigs, whatever. The size of the lure versus the correlation between the number of fish you catch on it and the amount of time you fish on it without catching very many fish. And there's one lure out there that, in my opinion, it's sort of a waste of time versus other type of lures to throw. And that's a glide bait. Guys, a big glide bait, anything over 6 or 7 inches long, in the real world of bass fishing, the amount of time that you spend throwing a big glide bait versus the number of bass you actually put in the boat, it just ain't worth it. Now, if you're in the exception to the rule, guys, if you live in some big bass lakes like in California that don't get much fishing pressure, or some big bass lakes in Florida or Texas that don't get much pressure, yeah, that's a situation you might catch some good fish on it. But for the typical man-made lake around the country, like Table Rock Lake in my part of the country, or Lake Lanier, Georgia, or Lake Murray, or Lake Hartwell, or wherever you fish, if you look at the sheer number of hours you can throw a glide bait without any type of reward, you're just basically wasting your time. And here's how people get sucked into glide bait fishing, and I've been guilty of it myself, is that a glide bait under the right situations, don't get me wrong, it can catch a big fish and quality fish. But the thing that really sucks people into it is the fact that these baits look so good in the water. A lot of the color patterns and the way they design these glide baits now, they look exactly like a big fish. And the action that they have in the water, it looks so good. I mean, you look at the thing, you say, if I was a bass, I'd hammer that thing. And what you wind up having with glide bait fishing in the today's world of fishing, where all the fish are pressured, they're heavily fished, they get a lot of fishing pressure. You have fish that come to this thing because they're curious about it. But here's what happens 9 times out of 10. Let's say, for example, you're in a perfect glide bait scenario. It's springtime of the year, the water's clear, the fish are up shallow, and you throw this big glide bait in the water and work it through a good looking area. You'll have these big fish that swim up like this around it, and then they just turn off and they swim away from it. And you keep thinking, it's like, man, if I just keep throwing this thing, one's gonna get on this thing and eat it. It just doesn't work that way. You'll wind up throwing it all day long, and at the end of the day, you won't have anything in the boat most of the time. So my advice is if you want to just have consistent bass fishing and you want to catch fish every time you're out there, stick to the techniques and the baits that consistently produce fish. And probably the number one most consistent bass catcher day in and day out, 12 months out of the year, is a shaky head. If I could give you guys one piece of advice to catch bass on it, become a master of a shaky head. Whether it be 4 or 5 or 6 inch shaky head, 16th ounce, 8th ounce head, whatever, a shaky head is a bass catching bait. So is a Ned rig, so is a wacky rig, so is a Texas rig worm, so is a jig. Those bottom bouncing lures like that work in any condition. They work in any weather condition, any time of the year, any lake across the country. And even your other baits, like your power fishing baits, like your crankbaits and your spinner baits, your jerk baits and your swim baits, they are very situational. But the bottom bouncing lures that I'm talking about will get you more bass day in and day out than anything. And like I said, these things are fun to fish, but they're just a waste of time in my opinion. I've told this story before. A lot of you guys may know who David Dudley is. David Dudley is the all-time leading money winner on the FLW Tour. He won the Forestwood Cup. Guy's exemplary bass fisherman. And he told me that all of his glide baits, just what I just talked to you, he took them all and got rid of them. He said, he goes, Randy, he goes, I wasted so much time fishing glide baits where I could be catching fish on a shaky head that I finally got rid of all of them so I wouldn't be tempted. And they are very tempting to throw. So my advice is to stop throwing them unless you just want to go out and just have a chance to catch a big one and you don't mind throwing it and you don't mind not catching one, then that might be a scenario with it. But this is the lowest percentage lure out there. I mean, a big glide bait is a low percentage bait. So anyway, guys, hope the info helps out. We'll talk later.